Say, hey, Daddy.
Hey, Daddy.
Say, we love you, Daddy.
I love you, Daddy.
What else do you want to tell Daddy?
Let's go back. Hey, Daddy.
Say, be good, Daddy.
You gonna say?
Don't put your paws in your mouth. Say, love you.
Daddy.
Say, you're the bestest daddy ever. Alright. And say, I will see you tomorrow, Daddy.
Oh, tomorrow, Daddy.
Say, love you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. You say, can you wave bye to Daddy? Can you wave to Daddy? Can you wave? Can you blow a kiss to Daddy? Okay.
What's up, Vinyl Community? It's your boy Chris coming at you live, as always, from the Man Cave. Joining you with a cold brewed coffee because I love beer, but it's 10 o'clock in the morning and I don't have problems. And cold brewed coffee because it's South Carolina and it's hot as balls outside. Anyway, so this past Saturday, I had the privilege of joining the Four Horsemen. Myself, Dylan from Noble Records, David from Local Bandography, John from Digital Gramophone, and brought my boy Josh, Take Me to Birch, for those of you on Instagram. Hopefully we'll get him set up with a channel eventually, and then I guess we'll have to change the name of the group. Anyway, so we meet up at the Charlotte Music Fair, I think was what it called, Charlotte Music Fair, in Charlotte, North Carolina, obviously. Big record fair, bunch of vendors from all over the region, I would suppose. I don't think anybody came from across the country for it, but I had been invited by John and David, and myself and Dylan had. And what's interesting, believe it or not, your boy here, I've never been to a record fair. Never in my life. I've never been. I had never been. Every time I ever hear about one, it's always too late. And I've been told by a lot of people that, you know, the records are always overpriced, and you might find a couple of big ones because the guys are bringing their best stuff, but they overprice them, yada, yada, yada. That's what I'd always been told. So I've never been, but I broke down. Good opportunity to hang out with the guys. It's like, even if I don't see anything, you know, I got to hang out with the boys for a few hours. Nothing wrong with that. So, you know, even though we're all local, doesn't mean we all see each other all the time. Anyway, so I go, walk in, probably, you know, not too long after, you know, they open up or whatever, and they're already packed. I mean, collectors everywhere, and it only gets more packed from here. So David, Local Bandography, immediately points out, you know, because he had told me that there were going to be vendors there that I'd like. And by that meaning they bring lots of jazz. So, so he points me to where I need to start. So I go. Damn you, David, because I end up spending money. Just kidding, I brought money. I was ready to spend money. You guys know better. So I pick up several good deals. This is a really cool guy, and turns out he's actually located locally. But one of the first ones I grab up is Doug Karn, Adam's Apple. It's on Black Jazz. Any of you guys who like jazz but don't know anything about Black Jazz, the label, get it into your life, guys. It's great stuff. Now, this one is not going to be an original pressing, obviously. It's 1998 reissue, but what's cool about it is, besides being quadraphonic, but what's cool about it is it's still sealed. Still sealed, so I'll be the first one to pop the plastic on it, and you guys know how much I hate shrink wrap of what sort, so I haven't seen this wax yet. I haven't seen any of it, so why not share the moment with you guys? I bought it last Saturday, but I'm a busy man, and I don't usually pop plastic until I'm getting ready to listen to it. But I'm planning on listening to it today because I finally have some free time. So why not share the experience with you guys, looking at the wax for the first time? Oh, isn't that great? You're free. Doug Karn, you're free. You're free. Anytime you see anything on Black Jazz, you guys, you gotta do it. as soon as I get this disgusting shrink wrap off of here. There you go. Now it looks like a record. So sturdy. Looks like it just came out of the shop. There you go. Gorgeous Black Jazz label. So as soon as I wrap this video up, I'll be cleaning her up. And in short order, tossing it on the plow. Looking very forward to it. Anyway, I don't have anything to do today for the next few hours, or the next few hours anyway, other than ship out some records that I sold to some people last week. And hopefully get a chance to listen to some of my glorious new acquisitions. Doug Carr, Adam's Apple. And so the first thing that struck me about it was, okay, well, this is a great price. It was $15 sealed for a great record on a great label. So that's the first thing that jumped out to me. And so I'm like, okay, you know, I'm optimistic from there. And the next thing, you guys, I've talked to you several times about my aspirations to grab as much Impulse, as many records on the Impulse label as I could possibly grab. And I think the theme for this day is, I was feeling a little impulsive last Saturday, let's just say that, because I grabbed several great ones. Next up, I've had my eyes on this one for a while for several reasons. Number one, it's a soundtrack. Beth from B-Side, if you're paying attention. It's a great movie for one. I love the movie. Sonny Rollins, my second favorite, saxophonist of all time. And it's an Impulse. And it's the Alfie soundtrack, Sonny Rollins. So, great stuff. Original music from the score. And because it's Impulse, you guys already know. Got to open up that beautiful gatefold for you. Got to show you guys that gorgeous spine. Get in there. There you go. And it is not a very first press, unfortunately. But it was at a great price. Couldn't pass it up. It's probably the ugliest label Impulse ever had. There's not really much going for it at all. It's just green and blue in a swirl. But it's a great record on a great label. And I tell you what, they might have changed their labels several times over. But what they never did change was the quality of the gatefolds and the production value of the music. It's great stuff. One of these days, I'll get a very first pressing of this one, and you guys know how I wagon wheel from there. No need to explain it any further. But so I grabbed that one. So there you go, right there. Immediately, I've got $30 worth of records in my hand. Great stuff. Still flipping. And I get to one I've been looking for a long time. I had an opportunity to grab an original press a few weeks ago, but didn't have the cash at the time. And I asked the guy that was trying to sell it to me, can you hold? He's like, he's like, I'm gonna continue to try to sell this because I need to sell it. And if it's still available when you get the money, holler at me. And sold before I had a chance to get the funds together. Now, Sunday Stick. Of course, also on Impulse, stereo label. I've wanted this record again for a long time. A few weeks ago, I really hate that I didn't have the funds at the time. The only thing bad about it is got that corner clipped off of it. It's not as chewed up on the corner as my former original mono copy of Love Supreme, and I'll address the former in a bit. But anyway, here's another cool thing. Sealed, you guys. Sealed. And I'm guessing it's going to have the exact same label as Alfie. But there is indeed only one way to find out. Right, guys? Need the knife for this one. Because of that corner. Let's let this puppy breathe. Let's let this record do what it was supposed to do, which is be listened to. Now it looks like a record. Ooh, very first time gatefold gets open. Just love it because it'll never make that sound again. So, it's awesome. Spines, of course. I'm guessing again that it's going to have that same green and blue label. ABC inner. Yes, indeed. But I'll be the very first person ever to drop a needle on this. And so I can't possibly be more excited about that. I always am. If I can yank up a sealed record for a great price. So immediately, I've got 2 Impulse records in my hand that I've wanted for a while. And out of the 3 that I'm holding, 2 of them are sealed. So, and all 3 at great prices. And the guy who, had the booth was very nice, engaged me in conversation the entire time. Very cool guy. So I'm having a great time already. Bank account might have been a little mad at me, but I brought exactly how much money in cash that I intended to spend so that I didn't do anything too crazy. So, still flipping. Flip to the next bin, to the next bin over, and I found one. I've been looking for an original press so for a long time. I was holding out for an original press, but for the price that I'm getting ready to show you on this press and couldn't pass it up. The Night of the Cookers, live at Club Le Marchal. I never have been able to pronounce that. Correct me, guys, somebody. It's volume 2, and it's on Blue Note. Great stuff. And with Freddie Hubbard, Lee Morgan, James Spaulding, Harold Mayburn Jr., Larry Ridley, Pete LaRocca, and Big Black. Guys, this record very much does exactly what the title says it does. It cooks from start to finish. As you can see, it's in great condition. And even though it's that blue Note label with the white B that I don't usually covet outright. It's in near mint condition on the wax, and the price $20. You see these go for higher than that. And my original pressing, when I get it, will be higher than that. I mean, it's not like Blue Train. I mean, it's not going to be $400 or $500, but it's going to be higher than 20. But again, got a great price on it. It'll hold me. So, get all those, and I had several others that I was sitting there debating about. I'm looking at them, I'm like, I think I need to look around. There's a lot more vendors here. These prices are a little higher than what I want to pay. So it's like, and I got Dylan digging right behind me, and Dylan, his style, Dylan goes to the discount bins, to the bargain bins, because a lot of times he has a lot of luck. You find a lot of really great stuff. A lot of people price really great stuff sometimes at these events. They underprice them. I mean, either trying to move them or I don't know. But I think he goes in like the $2 bin, and so he's digging behind me, and I have told him and pretty much everybody ever that there's no bad Sonny Rollins record, and I mean that. But he yanks this one out of, I think, the $2 bin. Sonny Rollins, don't ask. And again, it's not Blue Note, it's not his contemporary, it's not any of that, it's not the prestige stuff. But again, it's Sonny Rollins in great condition for a couple bucks, and he knew I couldn't pass it up. Milestone label, great stuff. It's I think 1978 or 79 release. But yeah, only a couple bucks. It's the only record I got from this gentleman. I hate that, but everybody knows I'm looking for the big dogs. That's my style and Dylan's style can be exactly the opposite. He's really hunting out the deals. I'm looking for your holy shit. I'm looking for your holy shit wall in your bins. That's what I'm looking for. So I go to the next booth over after I grab the $2 Sonny Rollins from this gentleman's booth. Thanks, Dylan, for spotting that one for me. And I find a couple of holy shits. Records I've been looking for years. So as I'm flipping through, immediately I find a lot of awesome Blue Note stuff that I already have. So I start and I'm like, oh my God, these are all, grails. This is grail material, but I have them all. So immediately I'm getting the attention of the other guys that are hanging out with me. I'm like, guys, if you don't have these. So just as I always do, I got a couple of guys in trouble. My buddy Josh ended up buying a couple of them. John ended up buying a couple of the Art Blakeys. I think Volume 1 and Volume 2. You won't regret that. I'm sure you've already thrown yours on. But the first record I come to in the bin that I've really been looking for that I want is Freddie Hubbard, The Body, and The Soul. Let me get rid of some of this glare so you guys can take a better look. Gorgeous. The only thing wrong with it is somebody did that, and I'm scared to take it off because I'm scared I'm going to do damage to the cover, which is beautiful otherwise. But you guys get a look at the gatefold. And unlike these other Impulse records that I grabbed, I showed you guys a minute ago, unlike those, splat out, original stereo pressing, as close to near mint as you can get while still being technically VG++. Gorgeous. I've been looking for this one for years. I love Freddie Hubbard stuff on Impulse. The lineup on this one: Wayne Shorter, Freddie Hubbard, Bob Northern, Julius Watkins, Cedar Walton, Joe Jones, Reggie Workman, Melba Liston, Curtis Fuller, Jerome Richardson, Eric Dolphy, Ed Armour, Richard Williams, Harry Scheiken, Morris Stonezik, Arnold Adis, Sol Shapiro, Charles McCracken, Harry Katzman, Larry Lufosky, Gene Orloff, Julius Held, Rowland Polikin. I'm sure I butchered a couple of these names, but the point is you've got like three basically different huge lineups, and only in case of a couple of the players aren't present on some of the tracks. Two sides, three different recording sessions came together. One on March 8th, one on March 11th, and one on May 2nd, all of 1963. But so that was a big one for me, and I keep thumbing. And I had no idea that this guy actually had his own holy shit wall with him, and it was right behind him. So as I'm thumbing, then I look up, and down in the bottom right hand corner, I spotted another big one by the same artist. The artistry of Freddie Hubbard, big one for me. I mean, I prefer that one. I prefer this one over the Body of the Soul. Gorgeous gatefold as always. Bam, spine. So, and just like the other Hubbard, splat out, except for this one is an original mono press. You guys know how much I love my original mono pressers. This is one of my favorite releases on Impulse, actually. So this was definitely one. I had to have. So immediately I'm looking at it, and this one's, a little bit more money. This guy's got this one marked for $35 more than he does the Body and the Soul. So I'm looking at them, and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I only need to buy one. And for me, it was obvious. If I'm only going to buy one of these, even though it's the more expensive one, then this is the one. The artistry of Freddie Hubbard is the one of these two gorgeous albums that I need to buy. So I'm getting ready to sit this one down. I'm still thinking on it. I'm getting ready to sit this one down and ask the gentleman to hand me this one. And I'm getting ready to really regret it because I'm going to walk off. I'm going to be like, should have grabbed both of them. I think the gentleman could see that I was having a dilemma. And he looks at me. He goes, I tell you what. And I know this is going to sound like a high price for most of you guys, but it's really not if you've been in the market for these records. He looks at me. He goes, I tell you what. You get both of those Hubbards. I'll give them both to you for $100. Total. And I kind of just smiled, and I got Dylan digging right beside me. He knows what I'm going to do. And I looked up at him. I said, you got yourself a deal. Grab that Hubbard for me. So I grabbed these two and walked off. Shook his hand. He gave me his information and walked off because it's like, I don't need to get in any more trouble with this gentleman. And then I immediately tell all the other guys, hey, this guy over here's got that fire. So he ended up, it was his first time ever at the Charlotte Fair. He's from Richmond. His first time at the Charlotte Fair, but something tells me he'll be back. I can't help but think he'll be back because just me and the other four guys dropped a lot of Skrilla at his booth. So I cannot help but think that man will be back. So anyway, I walked around, discovered a major grail that the gentleman, by then I'm tapped out. I discovered a major grail that unfortunately I had to pass on. My boy Dylan grabbed for a big discount. I'm not going to give it away for just in case either A, he wants to talk about it in his videos, or maybe he's talked about it in one of his last couple and I just hadn't seen it yet. But anyway, I think he has, because I think he did a video on this same show. But I ended up having to pass on it. But kudos. But then we go back. I can see my boy Josh had finally made his way over to the booth that I told him, hey, you need to go to. He's grabbing a couple of those. So the very first gentleman that I had, grabbed some of those impulse and whatnot from, a couple of those steel ones from, is behind me, is behind that booth. And about that time, I hear him go, "Psst, hey." So I turn around and look at him. He goes, "You remember that Jack McDuff you put back?" I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "I'll give it to you for 20. I'm like, damn you. Because he had 30 on it, and I thought that was a little high. I love Jack McDuff, though. It's always great jazz at always really good prices. So I'm like, I said, "I tell you what," I said, "let me come back and look at it." So I walk over there and I grabbed it out again, because the first time I grabbed it, I really didn't scan the wax all that great. But I grab it. It's on that Prestige Trident label, but it's purple instead of the blue that I usually see. And you can eat off of it. It is like stone cold mint. So I reach out in my pocket, I grab a 20. Tell him, I said, "Yeah, man, you got a deal." I said, "You got a deal, but I'm tapped out. I can't afford anything else." So shakes my hand again, tells me to have a great day. So it was awesome. But great day, great albums all the way around. Dylan had to scoot afterwards, so made a deal with him. He and I had already made a deal in the parking lot. Those beautiful UHQR Jimi Hendrix audiophile presses that you guys had seen me talk about a couple videos ago, that all of you asked about in the comments. I remember showing a lot of great jazz records, but all you guys were like, "Oh, those UHQR Jimmys." I've heard that album 10,000 times, So I think I'd even mentioned in the video that they were probably going to end up getting sold for jazz. I never even got the plastic off of them, guys. Cut a deal with Dylan. He and I traded up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you want to know how those beautiful UHQRs that I showed a couple videos ago, how they sound, ask Dylan at Noble Records. He'll be able to tell you. I know you guys all think I'm crazy, but I've always been crazy, but it's kept me from going insane. Anyway, so this album here, Sun Ra Nothing Is, I showed probably 10 or 15 videos ago. I had an original mono, stone cold mint. And usually those are ones I never consider ever parting with. Usually. But it's really just not my thing. It's really out there, and it makes sense that Dylan would want it because Dylan loves psych and weird stuff. And Dylan was interested in it. And we cut a deal. I told him how much I wanted for it, and he goes, "I tell you what, I've got a sealed reissue. How about, this price and my reissue?" I'm like, "Fair enough. I'll still have the album. And maybe one day if I want to go back and give it another stab, I can." So that's what we did. I went ahead and brought this weird album home again. I admire Sun Ra. I think he was a genius. But this is just really not my lane. I'm a hard bop, post bop, bebop kind of guy. It's sealed. Let's go ahead and get that off of there. Free Mr. Sun Ra up a little bit. I have always loved the cover of this album, though. I think it's like a 70s reissue. I'll have to do my homework on it. But I didn't really pay too much attention about what year reissue it was or anything like that. The label, the center label, is not nearly as pretty as the original that I gave to Dylan. This one's just plain white label. I'll be damned. It's an Italian. It's an Italian pressing. I had no damn idea. My experience with Italian presses in the past is that they're not the greatest, but it's still cool conversation piece, and it's for an album that, again, as of now, I would tell you I don't like. But this trade, the deal that I did with Dylan, makes it, to where if I ever do want to go back and give it another swing, I can. So cut that deal. Dylan had to take off. Me, David, John, my boy Josh, headed off and had lunch. A couple of beers together, shot the shit, talked about music, had a great time. And then we had to be on our way. Really looking forward to the next time I can meet up with the four horsemen, plus my boy Josh. We have to come up with another name when he gets on YouTube. Okay, so that's the end of my update on the show. On the record fair, excuse me. Great time, great guys. Couldn't ask for a better day. Couldn't ask for coming up with better records. And so that's the end of that. And now I'll give you an update on a few, two. Two. that I've gotten since in the last couple of weeks. And the first one of my all-time favorite albums, top 3 Coltrane from me. I've owned now 3 copies of this album. John Coltrane Ballads. Gold, gatefold as always. But what's special about this one is after searching for so long, I finally got my original mono pressing. And she's beautiful. And I can't wait to get her cleaned up and through on. So I finally upgraded, a really one of my favorite jazz albums. So I finally was able to do that. And for a price, oh my God. I had been telling my boy Mike Guitar Player 07. For those of you who don't follow Mike Guitar Player 07, you really should. He's an awesome young man, great knowledge, and just one of the kindest individuals in the vinyl community. I had been telling him that I was on the hunt for that original mono pressing, for that upgrade. And that, when the time came when I had it, I'd gladly sell him, my reissue. And he was foaming at the mouth for it. I said, I'm not going to sell it to you until I get it. But again, foaming at the mouth. So I closed the deal. I was talking about, he and I agreed on a price, which, I'd already was intending to cut him a deal. And he was like, okay, I'll send it to you, and then, we'll settle up then. But I got a steal for this original mono pressing over here. I won't tell you exactly how much, but it was a steal. Let's just, man, an unbelievable steal. For the price that I got that for, the reissue I end up sending him is worth more money than I paid for that original mono. No shit. I'll just leave it at that. So I was already sending him a box of stuff anyway, some VCLT plus one he bought from me a while back. And I was waiting to close up that box because I knew that once this, original mono press came in, that I was going to drop that reissued ballads in there for him, but he didn't know. And I dropped it in there for him and basically just sent him a text message. And once he got it and was blown away, basically just sent him a message going, it's yours. It's, thank you for being a great friend. And his birthday is coming up, so it's like a happy birthday present for him. No money required. I hope you're enjoying it, Mike. I hope so, buddy. And next up, one that I had seen on Instagram for what I believe to be insanely cheap. Hank Mobley and his All-Stars. Hank Mobley, tenor, Milt Jackson on the vibes, Horace Silver on the keys, Doug Watkins on bass, and Art Blakey on drums. This is an album. This is one of those ones that I've kind of put in the back of my mind as will most likely never own an original because it goes for insane cash. So I went ahead and got that blue label with the white B. They still sound great, and I got it for $20. So looking forward to listening to that one. Yeah, so there you go. There's the update from the record show and from a couple of recent acquisitions. Hopefully the next video I do, one of the next couple of videos I do, I'll be updating you guys on another recent impulse upgrade. And this one was major for me because the one that I owned had been bothering me. And I'm glad to finally cross that off the list. I'm just waiting for it to show up in the mail. And for those of you who would ask about the copy that I've had that was getting on my nerves, it's already gone. I had promised it to a buddy, so he's already got it. So, but anyway, foaming at the mouth, waiting to show this to you guys. I'm very excited about it. So anyway, hope you guys are all enjoying your, what's today? Wednesday? I don't know. I work swing shift 12s, guys. They're just days to me. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. Hope you're having a great week. I know a lot of you are counting down to the weekend. But until next time, until next video, keep dropping that needle, you guys.